Welcome my beautiful people, Fernando David here. On this video, we're going to be talking about a topic that's on the mind of every traveler, yet it's not on the minds of most hosts. And that's the topic of having flexible check-in and check-out policies. So just to put things in perspective, let's sit back and imagine that we are traveling. Imagine that we're traveling from the US to Europe or the US to South America, like deep South, like let's say Argentina and Brazil. Those flights are long flights. You're going to be traveling a minimum of 7 hours, not counting how long it takes you to get to the hotel, the airport, etc. When you get to your destination, what you really want to do is get to your short-term rental, drop your bags off, maybe take a nap, rest a little bit, freshen up, take a shower. But the last thing you want to do is you want to sit around and wait for your check-in time. It is extremely important. If you want to provide that 5-star experience, if you want to give that guest from the onset a positive mindset, then you really need to be flexible with your check-in, and we'll talk about checkouts in a second, but both you need to be kind of flexible. Now, I 1000% understand it's difficult for some of you, especially if you're very busy. If you have a check-in and check-out at the same time, it may be difficult to do that, but knowing, or let me put it this way, some of you have the ability to be flexible and you're refusing to be flexible. That's where I think you're making a big mistake. And I know some of you don't even think about it because most of you don't even freaking travel, right? But take it from a person that's a host and take it from a person that travels constantly. You know, I've mentioned this on another video. If you want to be a true professional in this business, then not only do you have to be in the game, but you also have to participate in the game. Here's what I mean by that. I highly recommend that when you travel, and that you travel often, that when you travel, you book short-term rentals. See what other people are doing. Also, put yourself in the shoes of the traveler. That's going to give you a big leg up because it's going to get you to understand and see things from the perspective of a traveler. And having a flexible check-in and check-out time are hugely important. So using that scenario that I just mentioned, I'm going to give you some of my experiences. I often travel to Europe, and when I travel to Europe, if I'm leaving Miami, it's always going to be the red eye, meaning I'm going to be leaving late at night. I'm going to be arriving in Europe somewhere in the morning time. And the last thing I want to do is wait till 3 or 4 p.m. in the afternoon to check in. So when I book my travel, I often communicate with the host and I ask them to give me the opportunity to check in early, depending on when my arrival time is. I don't mind. And here's where not only can you make a little extra money, but here is where it's important. When someone communicates with you in advance, now I'm not talking about a last minute check-in, but most people that travel long distance will do so and would book in advance. I would communicate with the guest and I would tell them, hey, what's your arrival time or your estimated arrival time? If it's not within my window of check-in, meaning if it's early, if they haven't asked, I would present that opportunity, meaning I would say, hey, there's a possibility that I can get you in earlier. Let's say again, check-in time normally is at 4 p.m. But if I know they're arriving at noon, I could offer them to check in at 1 p.m., maybe 2 p.m. at a fee. That's if you want to make some extra money. If you don't need the money, then don't do this, meaning don't offer to charge them. But we often charge. If they're going to check in an hour or two early, we don't charge. But if it's going to be like a 4-hour difference, meaning if check-in time's at 4 and they want to check in at noon, I'm going to charge them a couple of bucks to get them to get in early. But most people, most travelers will not hesitate to pay that because it's convenient. Convenience and time. Let's talk about that real quick. Most people will pay for either convenience or to save time. This is why if you, for example, I'm going to use Southwest Airlines. Southwest Airlines will charge you to be the first to board the plane, meaning I think it's A1 through 15. If you want to be within A1 through 15, you either have to be a part of their loyalty program and have status with them. If not, then you're going to have to pay to get in from 1 to 15. And people gladly do it because they save time and it's convenient for them. The same thing's going to apply for travel. This is an opportunity for many of you to either make a little extra money, but more importantly, it's an opportunity to start off on the right foot with your guests. So being flexible with your check-in time is going to be critical. Just as important, maybe not as important, is checkout. Being flexible with your checkout time can also provide you some extra money if you want to charge for that, but it also can enhance your guest experience. experience. It's been my experience that the checkout part is not as important as check-in, because most people don't have a problem waiting unless they have a very late flight. There may be an opportunity for you to offer a later checkout. Someone that wants to check out an hour or two later, if they stayed for an extensive period of time. For me, if they stayed more than a week and they want to check out a little later, an hour or two later, I don't have a problem with that. Now, if they want 4 or 5 hours checkout time, meaning they need an extra 4 or 5 hours, then yeah, I'm going to charge them for that opportunity if the opportunity is there. Now, if I have a checkout or check-in coming in, then no, I can't give more than an hour to the guest. The point is being flexible with your checkout and checkout time, and it's going to be beneficial to you in both ways in terms of the guest experience and financially. Where many of you are missing the opportunity is a lot of you are not even asking if the guest wants to check in or early check-in or late check-out. This is an area in which hotels are very good at. Hotels will ask you, especially if you are a status member. Like for example, I'm a platinum member, a lifetime platinum member with Marriott. Every time I check into Marriott, they ask me, do you want a late checkout? And they'll give me that late checkout. They know that enhances the guest experience and in turn will make them money in the long run. Take advantage and do the same. Hope this information was useful. If it was, hit that like button. Follow me on Instagram. If you want to donate to the channel, then buy me a coffee. And if you want to have a one-on-one conversation with me, then go ahead and buy me a coffee. I'll send you an email and we can schedule a time in which we can talk. Love you guys, and I'll see you in the next one.